Hello and welcome to another episode of Showboys. That was a little awkward there for me because about halfway through it's playing in my headphones, so I was like,
You all right?
yeah, I can hear you guys, so that's good.
Okay, good.
Good.
But yeah, thank you for joining us. My name's Mike. I'm joined with my illustrious co-host Nick and our favorite, what do we call you, Jordan?
Correspondent,
Contributor, correspondent,
consultant,
holiday lover,
Gentle lover.
yeah. Jordan is with
Not
us.
that hair hurt you.
Yeah, look at that fresh new hairdo, looking real slick.
Pointy.
Thanks. That's funny.
Yep. But yeah, thanks for jumping on with us tonight. It's been a few episodes since the last time you were on.
Few episodes, 50 hours later.
Yeah. That's like one episode for us. But yes, we will be talking about Loki, a little show on Disney Plus. Maybe you've heard of it, called Loki. Just ended last week, 2 weeks ago.
Last week.
Yeah, I think it was last week.
Yeah. So that'll be fun. We might talk about some crypto since, our resident crypto expert is with us tonight. And, the market's been
Blockchain.
real fun, and yeah, we've definitely not lost all of our money from when Jordan last joined us.
No, that's not true. It's actually up since our Theta episode. It's still doubled over.
Yeah.
So good call, Jordan.
There's some updates though coming up for Theta itself, right?
Yeah. There's obviously we don't have to jump into it all now, but they released their mainnet 3.0 at the end of last month.
Nice.
And it's fundamentally it's been doing really, really well. So when we talk about it, we'll have some good and bad, I'm sure.
Awesome. But before we get into that, we had our drawing last week for the Moff Gideon Funko Pop t-shirt combo pack giveaway prize. And unfortunately, the winner never reached out and gave us his contact information, so we couldn't mail it to him. So, like I said last week,
it was me.
Yeah. I'm going to pick a new one. So here we go. Mixing up all the names. If you are the winner, make sure you DM myself or Nick with your address before next week's episode so we can get this in the mail and out of my basement and into your hands. Or we're going to have to pick another winner next week. So let's see.
Jordan.
Oh, wow. This is a new person to our crew, and it's really hard to read that handwriting. But underfunded scientist, aka my good friend Nox Mortem from my glory days in Dust 514.
Wow.
Yeah, so congratulations, Mr. Scientist. You have won this amazing Funko Pop t-shirt combo pack of Moff Gideon wielding the dark saber, and it's actually an amazing Funko Pop, and it's back on my shelf back there. You will enjoy it. Make sure you DM me your address as soon as you can, and I will get that in the mail and shipped out for you. Oops. Well, look at that. Just double clicking comments over here. BioSiv with the wow underfunded. Thank you, BioSiv, for tuning in, which that means a lot because you're actually streaming right now. So multitasking.
That's talented.
Yeah, that's right.
Should we watch his stream?
Hey, actually, yeah, let's do that real quick. Let's drop in. Here we go. Hold on a second.
Figure it out.
1 second. I'm a boomer, so you're gonna have to really
give
me a second.
This is the part where they mute all of us and also mute the video.
Everyone just gets kicked out. Here we go. Welcome to BioSiv's stream of the Outer Worlds, featuring gameplay commentary by the Showboys crew.
Wow.
Look at
this game? This looks sweet.
He's playing a game called The Outer Worlds.
Wow.
Which is a very similar game to Fallout. I don't know if you heard of Fallout.
Little bit.
Yeah, it's very Fallout-like, very heavy on the RPG elements.
Wow. I like the color scheme is very interesting. It's almost kind of polarized a little bit. It's weird.
Yeah, it's like if you took Fallout and mixed it with Borderlands and you played Fallout in outer space.
Yeah.
It is, the RPG elements are pretty deep. Ridiculous. I actually picked this up on the Switch, and I haven't played it very much, admittedly, but there's a lot to it from what I've noticed. And BioCiv has said that he actually loves this game, so
we just forced him into our podcast. He didn't have a choice.
Yeah. So sorry
Ralph,
for putting
how you doing, Ralph?
Sorry for putting you on the spot here, Bio. But we'll let you go.
Thanks for tuning in.
I can't believe you're watching our podcast while you're streaming your games. So it's appreciated, man. You have a good night.
Oh, no worries.
He'll never be back.
Yeah.
Oh, he'll be back.
Actually, spoiler alert. He'll be back.
He's back now.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Thank you guys for showing. Of course, anything for a friend. Thank you for showing up while you're hard at work. But yes, so we have our winner picked out. Underfunded Scientists. DM myself in Discord or Pixel Nick.
Get at it.
Give us your address so we will mail this out to you.
Give us your address.
Really do not want this to be in my basement anymore. I want you to own it. That's why I got it. But yeah, we got that out of the way. What's Loki, guys?
What's Loki? What is Loki?
God of Thunder, right?
Yeah,
God of Thunder, lightning. Yeah. God of lightning.
He's the one with the shield, right?
Yeah. Man, that's the one.
Well, we'll just do first impressions. What did you guys think about the show overall? We'll start with you, Nick.
Whoa, me?
As you're new to the MCU, I mean, you've just recently caught up with everything, right?
All the way up to Far From Home, because stupid contracts are preventing it from being on Disney Plus, which aggravates me, and I don't want to buy it. But
Pirate Bay.
Wow, what? That's not a thing.
We don't condone illegal activities, Jordan.
I'm in the wrong place.
I'm in the wrong place. But yeah, I mean, so it was helpful. That was my point, I think, is I wanted to watch all the MCU all the way through. Obviously I was current with the shows, but I just hadn't watched it all through, all the movies, for all what they could be appreciated for. And especially since you did that, Mike, I felt the need to do it in preparation for Loki, just because I was afraid I would be very, very confused. But luckily, not too much. Really just have to be caught up on Loki's story in the MCU to kind of understand what's going on in Loki. So I like that it is very standalone-ish, right? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think you really have to see much more of the MCU to follow along and enjoy Loki. That's kind of one impression I got out of it, because I was preparing to be much more inundated with MCU tie-ins and stuff like that. But overall, I mean, like WandaVision, I liked it a lot because I like this tier of MCU versus the Falcon Winter Soldier tier. So the Earth-based stuff is less appealing to me than the kind of more meta, multiversal, Doctor Strange, Guardians of the Galaxy, and all that kind of stuff. So the more wild sci-fi-ish it gets, the more I like it. So
I didn't see that one coming.
Right.
Star Wars.
Who thought Nick would be into the cosmic stuff?
Yeah. Forget these superheroes on Earth. They're boring. They can't even fly. So yeah, I definitely I rank it up there with WandaVision. I don't know which one I like more, because they both do that kind of period piece kind of flavor in there. because WandaVision, you get the old school TV sitcoms, and then this, you get the, was it like 50s bureaucratic government office type vibe?
TVA,
Yeah.
Like,
so
brown leisure suit.
yeah, all that stuff. So I definitely liked it a lot, and I was able to follow along pretty well. I mean, there was points where I'm like, like definitely some like they're reaching deeper into the MCU or just Marvel, which Jordan obviously knew everything they were doing before it happened, because they pull from. I feel like they were pulling heavily from the comics, or at least new-ish content.
Yeah,
they weren't leaning backwards too much. They were definitely leaning a lot forward.
Mm-hmm.
But I liked it.
Yeah, what do you say, Jordan, to his point of Loki kind of almost being standalone-ish? Like, well, as he was saying that, I was trying to think, like, if there was really anything super huge other than the fact that the reason that this Loki got picked up by the TVA was because he took the Tesseract when they were trying to like restore the timelines, right? And he like bailed out of there. So like if you didn't catch that part, you know, you'd probably be like, what the heck is this? What's going on? Why happening?
Is he alive? Right.
Yeah. But like other than that, like he had the reference to the Infinity Stones in the agent's drawer. I mean, some tossbacks to when Loki died, obviously. But like, were there any other like super major things that at this point, like I'm just so used to having to call back on MCU stuff that like I don't really notice anymore. But did you notice any glaring things that like, oh, you probably should have, you know, probably would have had to see this to understand this part of the show?
I think you covered it. If you watch the last two Avengers movies between Infinity War and Endgame, you'll know where this Loki's coming from.
Yeah.
You'll see the Prime Earth one die, and then you'll see the new timeline Loki escape and create the time variant that he gets arrested for. You know,
Mm-hmm.
But it's I think that's really about it. And then you can enjoy the show. And personally, I did not like WandaVision really at all. We did the companion series for Falcon Winter Soldier. I was thinking back on that. I think the companion series was more entertaining than the show itself. Like it was more fun. It was more fun to do than watch the show.
Good. Shout out Show Boys.
I don't know. Falcon Winter Soldier did so many things to move the MCU along, but also I think kind of regressed it a little bit too.
Yeah.
This show obviously just launched it forward in a lot of ways that I didn't even see coming, honestly. And I think that there is going to be probably more spin-offs from the show than we realize, whether they continue some of these characters in the What If cartoon series coming out, or just doing full shows on the different variations we saw of characters.
Looking back, I was not looking forward to WandaVision at all. So like that wasn't even on my radar for companion series. And then like a couple episodes into it, I was like, all right, fine, I'll watch it because everyone's raving about it. And then I ended up really loving it. And then it had been a while since we did a companion series, and I was like, oh, let's do one for Falcon and Winter Soldier. That'll be cool. And then like
you a Creed reference right there.
Oh yeah. What were you gonna?
It's been a while. Is that Creed or is that?
That's I believe that's
the other Creed
Stain.
band.
Right.
The other Creed
Stain?
band.
I immediately went to the movie Creed.
Oh.
I was like, what? What are you talking about?
That is definitely a Stained song, sir. But nice try. I mean, you predominantly listen to rap, so I'll let it slide. But
all that music sounds the same.
No.
Do you really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
92% of my catalog is probably considered rap and hip hop.
I did. Okay.
Yeah, he's.
What did you think I listened to?
It was sarcasm.
Stained.
It was sarcasm earlier. No, what I said earlier about Star Wars, like I didn't see it coming, but I did not see that one coming. Okay, on this one, I did not see.
Yeah, I'm
I
interested
clearly don't
now.
listen
What
to
do you
Stain.
think? What do you think? Or Creed, apparently.
Yeah, or Creed.
What
No.
did you think he listened to? This is spiraling off into a great conversation.
Some sort of cosmic instrumental. I don't know. I really don't know.
Star Wars lo-fi is actually low-key a jam that I do listen to, but
Oh my god,
bro.
I was right.
yeah.
Yep.
But that's only like 1% of the catalog.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Big rap fan over there.
Sorry. Kanye's got a new album potentially dropping tonight at midnight. That's what the entire internet is trying to figure out right now. Donda coming tonight. Be ready.
I have to get out of here.
Yeah, you got to get ready.
Leave. I just have to leave.
No, you have to get ready.
Kanye.
You have to get ready.
You know,
what'll I wear?
Nothing. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
My wife also is pretty
big on
always shocked when I tell her that you're super into rap, Nick.
So she forgets every time you tell her. So
Yes,
every time it's brand new information.
So we were actually driving home. So my two non-newborn children went to their friend's house. So Becca and I went to Target. So I have 3 kids. One is a newborn. My 2
non-newborn. I was moving the new out and just my 2 non-born children. I was like, what?
Surprise!
Yeah. Speaking of time variances.
Yeah.
They went to their friend's house. So Becca and I went out on a real hot date to Target to return something. And on the way home, I threw on the ever so clever named playlist on Spotify called Rap. And the Ric Flair drip came on. I was like, oh, this was Nick slammed this song like 2 years ago. Becca's like, what?
That video came out on my birthday. I was so hyped. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Jordan thinks so less of me now.
I'm still waiting for I'm just kidding. It's just not happening. It's not happening. It's not happening.
No, it's not going to happen. But now I totally forget what I was even going to talk about Loki.
I'm sorry.
No.
I messed up my Creed Stained reference.
No, it's all good because that was funny.
It's been a while.
Yeah, Stained, by the way, not Creed. So full circle. So Falcon Winter Soldier came around, and it had been a while since we had a companion series. So I was like, Jordan, let's do this because Nick hates comic stuff, and he won't do this with me. So we did it, and then kind of like we expected, it was just kind of like the palate cleanser. It was like the broccoli of the meal of these Disney Plus shows that were coming out. It was a lot of fun to do that series, though. So fun.
It was.
But yeah, it did a lot of necessary movement for the MCU. Nothing too exciting, but things that had to happen started to happen, except for the legendary 10 Rings link that should have happened.
They're still coming. They're on their way.
Still waiting for it.
Well, they're coming in Shang-Chi. We know that.
I know, but it wasn't. Anyways, and then I was really hyped about Loki and really wanted to do a companion series, but again, Nick, being the rude guy that he is, was like, nah, I'm doing a companion series for like 4 months long on Sunday nights on some dumb Star Wars show. And then my wife's like, oh yeah, by the way, I guess I'm probably going to have a baby like right in the middle of that show. And so the companion series didn't happen, but it would have been such a fun one to do because there's so much to dig into here. And
listen, I'm going to stop you right there.
Look, wait, real quick. The Bad Batch, that's a rap group, right?
Yep. It is.
Okay, just making sure.
It's the Baddest Batch. The Bad Batch is a Star Wars show on Disney Plus.
Okay. It's like one girl named the Bad Batch.
Yep. Yeah. It's actually Bad Batch. Bad Batch. The Baddest Batch. This is why Jordan hasn't been on in 20 episodes.
But dude, this is what every other episode of the Falcon and Winter Soldier series was like this.
Right.
It was.
But Loki's 4 or 6 episodes long, right? Mm-hmm. Companion series episodes are like an hour long. We can do 6 hours right now and just do the companion series.
That's true. I mean, that's only like 2 episodes of Showboys. So
yeah, easily.
No, you're right.
Yeah, you're right.
Episode 1 start. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Let me pull up my notes I've prepared.
Loki steals the Tesseract.
Yeah. But yeah, so after all that, what did you actually think of the series, Jordan?
Oh my god.
Didn't like WandaVision. Kind of liked Falcon Winter Soldier. Third Marvel series. What did you think?
It was definitely the best of the three. I think the pacing was probably better than the best out of the three. The acting was hands down the best out of the three. Owen Wilson, shout out right there.
No wow though.
We did get a how though.
Wow.
We got a how.
It's true.
But we didn't get a wow.
It's on the same frequency.
Yeah. The problem is so many things happened that deserved a wow.
Right.
And we never got one.
Wow.
Right. That show, one of my favorite things the MCU does is throws in the classic outfits every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
So the first Avenger, Captain America, you saw his 1940s, World War II complete cloth outfit. WandaVision, you kind of got to see the classic Scarlet Witch and Vision outfits. And this one, obviously, you got to see classic Loki, which was my favorite part of the show, by the way.
Many Lokis.
Many Lokis, yeah.
And as you say, it's one of your favorite things that like Marvel does, right? The MCU, and they throw these in. I was then picturing Ben Affleck
The Superman
as Batman,
outfit.
as like the '60s Batman outfit. That would be well worth it.
I heard the Adam West Batman does show up in Space Jam, the new one.
Oh, really?
Yes,
Mhm.
yeah. I actually watched that recently.
That's good. Ian Burt Ward shows up as well. Robin.
There's a bunch of there's a ton of it's basically an advertisement for HBO Max is what it is. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
There's a really hard montage scene in there where it's just a giant advertisement for HBO.
Oh my god. I'm not surprised, honestly. I'm really
King
not surprised.
Kong, Godzilla.
Yeah, bro.
It's all there.
Hopefully they weren't playing basketball, were they?
Dude, they tried to, but they weren't letting it
Godzilla's
happen.
arms are too short. He can't he's got no jumper.
He just murdered everybody in the stadium.
That was Braun's first pick. He's like, we need King Kong on my team. And then Don Cheadle's just like, hell no.
King Kong doesn't have shit on me. I think this show, again, they did. It was a weird show, but the mission accomplished, in my opinion. Though they weren't obviously trying to be normal at all, and they accomplished it while progressing a little bit of what the MCU needed. Bringing in the next big bad guy, kind of sitting. Obviously, everyone was really surprised by the final appearance, but no one was really wowed at the character. They don't realize what he's going to be or how what he can do, and that's pretty exciting too. I want to say right now, I bet Kang the Conqueror is probably Nick's favorite character in the MCU in the future.
Mine?
I could definitely see that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so obviously I was like reading stuff as the show was going on, and I wasn't surprised to see him, or as soon as I saw him, I knew exactly who he was for not knowing anything from the comics.
Mm-hmm.
But then the way they rolled it out, I enjoyed that whole sequence. I thought that was appropriate, even though it was different. They spent there's a lot of dialogue there, but I thought it was very necessary for what they were setting up.
Yes.
Real quick, underfunded scientist says, blew my mind seeing it underfunded in chat when I loaded in. Well, good sir. Do you know why your name was mentioned in chat? Because you won our giveaway.
Rewind.
But yes, I will say it was nice to not get bonered by this show.
Yeah.
Mike's still scarred by getting bonered 4 months ago.
So hard.
He's like, it was nice for once in my life to not get bonered.
Yeah, I got bonered hard by new rock stars in WandaVision, thinking that Mephisto was coming. And then I bonered myself real hard in Falcon Winter Soldier about the Mandarin. And then
you asked for it though.
I know.
Yeah.
I did that one to myself. But it was nice to see Kang, a variant of Kang, show up. And I think Jonathan Majors like crushed that part. Like his dialogue was amazing. His like antics, like he was just real wacky, goofy, and like super unsettling. I enjoyed that. I think a lot of people, I don't know if many people liked the slow pace of that part of how much dialogue was there, but like it was all really important stuff, and the way it was delivered was so good. I was there for every second of it. Did you guys also notice like a Wizard of Oz type parallel with like kind of how things unfolded there?
Yeah,
get to like the house or whatever you want to call it, and then like he's the guy behind the curtain when the elevator opens, and like it's a lot of parallels kind of.
Yeah, I mean, even with the like animatronic timekeepers, right?
Yeah.
And that's when people were worried like they were gonna boner everyone again with some kind of like lame reveal or something with the plot, but it definitely panned out well and played well. And I think he's just such a good counter to Loki or multiple Lokis, because Loki's always this character that kind of knows it all, pretends to know it all, and constantly just has the edge on everything, because usually he does know something or he has a plan. Meanwhile, he runs into this character too. Loki's run into a character which literally knows exactly what is going to happen and is happening.
Yeah. Underfunded says, nah, I just got here. And top chat said, wow, underfunded. So yeah, you won our giveaway. So DM either me or Pixel Nick in Discord and let us know your address, and I will mail this out to you, and you'll have a cool Funko Pop and t-shirt to match. There's a few things that I want to kind of dig into. First off, being where the heck Renslayer went, right? Because she hops through a portal there. What is Mobius's future in the MCU? Will we see him again? The Loki falling in love with himself, like storyline that first I was super annoyed by, but then as I was typing in Discord to Nick or in G chat, I forget where it was, but as I was typing to Nick why I was annoyed, I was like, oh wait, actually that's like really kind of brilliant, and now I love it. But we'll talk about that. And then excuse me, I've seen a lot of things floating around about the finale of Loki and the finale of WandaVision kind of syncing up, and like when He Who Remains kind of starts like noticing the splitting of the timelines. Like people are saying that's either the moment that Wanda's looking through I forget the name of the book, but the book in the post-credit scene, and she hears her children call for her, that like that Wanda like is the one that split the timelines, and that scene where He Who Remains is kind of like looking around like, oh, it's happening now, is him noticing Wanda split the timeline. Or they're also saying that maybe it's when Wanda like transforms into the Scarlet Witch and like assumes her natural Nexus form or whatever, however you want to put it, that maybe that was the Nexus event that split the timelines. Or because of what happened at the end of Loki, that the timeline splitting was what was going on in Loki, and that is what caused Wanda to hear her children reach out. So there's kind of like a few theories floating around there. I don't know if either of you guys have heard of any of those or are familiar with those, because I mean they just kind of started popping up last couple of days. But what do you guys kind of like think about that?
so the nexus of realities. There's a couple things you're talking about what they're looking at while in the castle, right? Seeing the actual timeline, the webbing of the timelines.
Yeah.
There's a couple things that could happen. I haven't looked into the theories at all. That does make complete sense that Scarlet Witch began that. Or I mean, this Time Authority obviously existed, I think, before the WandaVision TV show. So there could have already been things kind of going crazy. My guess is that's going to be the event that leads into the next Spider-Man movie and the Doctor Strange movie, where they start intertwining with maybe the Sony universe or other movies that are outside of the MCU. At least I hope so.
Yeah,
they need a very unique show like this that kind of has the sky's the limit of different characters they bring into the frame in order for the average viewer to accept seeing the Sony stuff come over and understand it and understand it's a possibility. The between the amount of Lokis, you'll see the alligator Loki, Kid Loki, Sylvie, she's kind of a plant lady Loki, whatever. Boastful Loki, I think that was one of them. To have all this happen,
you can't forget classic Loki.
A classic Loki, of course. Yes, that's the best part, obviously. In order to have all this happen in like just the crazy manner it did, it's the perfect introductory to the next set of MCU movies that will, probably lead closer to, the Nexus event, which is kind of like the Battle World event, the Secret Wars event. It brings in all these different characters from multiple timelines to battle each other, and off of that, it forms two major timelines, and that's kind of what the movies need right now, right? They kind of need the Prime timeline, and then maybe just an official Sony timeline. And these two timelines they establish, they can kind of dance between them and send some characters back and forth, maybe for certain movies.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking that'll happen in the midst of introducing Kane.
Yeah, that makes sense. And there was like an Easter egg in one of the Ant-Man movies. I don't remember if it was one or two. Maybe it was two. When he's in the quantum realm, like Chronopolis is like kind of seen in the background. So they've been hinting at Kang for a while. And to your point about like intertwining Sony and other Marvel properties that aren't owned by Disney yet, it could also be a way to introduce the newly acquired ones, like X-Men, stuff like that. I thought that there's kind of some ways that you can retcon mutants existing in the MCU, because it's been how long and there's been no mention of it at all.
The Black Widow had the first mutant in it, actually.
Oh yeah, did it? I haven't seen that yet, but that's good. Okay, so then
planting the seeds.
Then they're going to be retconning, because Black Widow took place like in the past, obviously, because she's dead. So So that nullifies my entire point then, because I was going to be like, I was kind of expecting maybe Scarlet Witch to be a cause of mutant development. Maybe her like chaos magic outburst, created some kind of mutants, and then I don't know, or maybe it split the fabric of reality and like brought mutants in from another dimension or universe.
It could have. I mean, you still could be right with that. The character is introduced in Black Widow. He's in the in jail. Did you see it yet or no?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Well, then that's just me talking to myself at this point.
You're talking to the lovely people that are watching. I've seen it.
Well, there's a scene in jail where the Red Guardians arm wrestling. It's really, really tall guy, and his name is I think Ursula Major, and he calls him a big bear. And in the comics, he's a mutant who literally turns into he's kind of a werebear, turns into a giant bear. And he didn't show any mutant powers, obviously. Matter of fact, he probably showed the exact opposite. But the fact he had the name and he called him a big bear just leaves me. I mean, maybe she's going to spark the mutant gene to start happening, right?
Right.
She might actually, people might just now start experiencing the fact that they're mutants.
Yeah.
She kind of wakes it up.
Yeah. I love the way that these series can be used. Because again, that was another point of contention with WandaVision. I know this is a Loki show, but yeah, we got to talk about all this stuff. Mm-hmm. A big thing with WandaVision is they kind of like redid the ending of that show, and Doctor Strange didn't show up because I believe this is as close to a direct quote as my memory will serve, but basically Feige was like, we didn't want a white man to come and like save the day, right? Because you got to be woke in comics, even though it would make total sense for the Sorcerer Supreme to show up during like a massive magical event.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, what do I know? I'm just, a fan of the series, and that kind of just makes sense with everything that we've been presented so far. But hey, so people, he also went on to say that, we don't want to use these properties to, build up and promote future properties, right? And I'm like, you are so full. Like, the entire MCU has been built off of every movie introducing and promoting and building up other properties because they're all intertwined like crazy. Like,
he's a fever dream.
I remember him saying that, and then Loki comes out, and it's literally going to be like the launch pad of the rest of Phase 4, basically. And I'm saying all this to say that that's what I think these Disney Plus series should be. They should just be limited series, mini series, one season long that just builds up an event that launches a movie, right? Or several movies, launches a big storyline that's going to run through several movies. So like,
except Loki.
Yeah. Well, no, Loki is the biggest. Like that's my thought is Kang is going to be the new Thanos, right? Thanos.
Well, I meant the fact that Loki's going to have a second season.
Right. Yeah, no, you're right there. But like Falcon and Winter Soldier set up, the Flag Smashers. I don't think they're completely done. It set up Sam to be the new Captain America, right? It resolved some of Bucky's issues. Zemo's now in the Raft, right? And then we had some Wakanda connections. So there's a lot being introduced there that's going to play forward. Loki obviously just ripped open the multiverse, literally. And even WandaVision had like series of events that are going to lead into future movies. So like these are the perfect tools to do just that. And then you can have the movies just tell an awesome story that doesn't have to tie into another movie, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense. Does it make sense?
Mostly. I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
One thing I like about Loki, and I hope they do with Loki, especially now that we know that there's a second season, is that it's going to kind of act as this meta headpiece to like explain other things that are going on with the movies and or shows, because it's going to get entirely complicated to where it will be harder, I think, to just jump into a MCU movie or show, especially now that Loki has happened and clearly they're pushing forward with the larger multiversal thing. So I feel like if you stay up to speed with Loki, it will fill in the gaps and give you all the fun Easter eggs and connection pieces to explain all of this stuff. But in that, I was talking to Mikey, who I do the Bad Batch Companion series with, and he's a big MCU fan, comics and all that. But I wanted to ask you, Jordan, so in the last episode where we see the timeline, the pruned timeline, which is a beautiful circle because time is a circle. Is that every stacking like condensed into one, and then as it splits off, it gets these multiverses, if that makes sense? Or is there always multiple layers to this cake? I think that's what like I still don't fully grasp. So like, did he have every single iteration of every multiverse pruned into a singular timeline?
I can't imagine, because he himself, as you're talking about Kang, right?
Yeah.
And he, so there's a version of him in each one of those timelines virtually. So it's the reason he's where he's at is he's trying to basically just oversee them. But he admits that he's not the scariest version out there, and he's trying to keep them all in line, which is ironic because he's probably the weakest out of all of them. That we'll probably see. But there's every timeline in comic books thinks that they're the prime Earth, right? They think that they're the one breaking the fourth wall. They don't realize that there's a main series out there, and not to kick it down, but Sony's probably like one of the timelines where they think that they're the end all be all, but they've never seen a Thanos. They've barely seen a powerful apocalypse. So it's hard to it gets super dorky talking about it, but I think the MCU's main timeline will be the major circle that we see, and the fractures coming off of that have been the other movies, and they'll center themselves of the universe in that way. And I'm sure Sony will be totally cool with that because they're just going to piggyback off of it the whole time. And hopefully that answers your question. But it's there's going to be one prime timeline.
Prime time, baby.
Right? Yeah. And then we'll see probably the ripple effects in the other ones of characters crossing over, maybe them learning that there's other timelines. I'm sure some movies won't touch on it, but hell, there's a chance you can see it. You can see Kang maybe show up in a Sony. In the comic books, Cable has gone against Kang before. So it's a prime situation. Kang is a perfect character at this point if they want to do the multiverse theory because he can be everywhere and you can kill him off as many times as you want, and there's still another one. Actually, you guys are Rick and Morty fans, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the Council of Ricks.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's a Council of Kangs. That's where they get it from. And not only that, but there's also a Council of Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic.
Nice.
And that's where the Council of Ricks is based off of, is that whole idea. So
and Rick Lannis.
Yeah.
That's like the best
Rick.
episode ever.
Yeah.
Just Morty's being Morty's.
Have you guys been watching the new season?
I haven't. Sadly.
No.
There's Namor. There's a character, I forget his name, but he's based on Namor from Marvel. If you know
nice.
what Namor is.
I'm about to binge it tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'll take a quick break for some comments. Hell yeah, man. Thank you so much. You're welcome. Thank you so much for subscribing to our YouTube channel and being a lovely member of our Discord. He also says, I'm crazy far behind on the superhero movies, but I love them. Hey, it's never too late. Just ask Nick.
Never too late.
Yeah. It is funny that you mentioned that, Nick. That like I had to binge Star Wars. Well, didn't have to, but
chose to.
Yeah. The fire was ignited, and then it's funny because then you did the same thing with Marvel. That's great.
Yeah, and I had seen them all, but I just knew I wasn't appreciating them properly because I just kind of halfway saw them along the way. So I now appreciate it all much more, and I can appreciate all the meta nuance to it.
Yeah. Dude, okay, so ever since before we went live and you said Loki looks really creepy in between.
I can't stop staring at him.
Yeah, same. He's just just creeping.
Wait, if you can't stop staring at him, he's gonna kill you in your sleep tonight.
Is it like Candyman, but Loki?
I'm try not to make eye contact.
Yeah, no eye contact. You don't look at it.
Yes, and all of you listening to just the audio version, you're safe.
You're safe.
Just be glad.
No, they're not. don't lie to them, Mike.
Yes.
And Mike, back to your original question about the WandaVision theories. Mm-hmm. I had not heard. I heard it the one way where essentially, and this the way I took it too during Loki is where he's sitting there and basically he had it written to a point.
Yeah.
And he was choosing to let that point pass because he was done being, the timeline pruner, right? Or writer, he who remains. And then that's why she then heard her children because the timeline starts
let it go.
Right. And he kind of let it go. But I like the flip side to that, to where he kind of let her Nexus event break it. So I can see it that way too. So now I don't know. I don't know anymore.
I think it is cooler if Wanda breaks it, right? Because it just shows how powerful she is, you know? Because He Who Remains knew everything that was going to happen, and then all of a sudden WandaVision's like, we're just going to stop that, and we're going to have the multiverse now. But I think all of those theories floating around are highly unlikely, and it was just some like super fan putting way too much time into trying to sync up the episodes. it like makes sense from a fan perspective, but I don't think even
they'll never directly
Feige himself will have gone that far.
That dude's confused anyways.
Yeah, I mean, dude, he missed the most epic tie-in of all time. I don't expect him to grab this, you know. Leave that to the fans like me and whoever this guy's that discovered that, which he's way better than me. But yeah, so lots of interesting stuff. I really want to know, like, where do you guys think Renslayer went when she like pieced out? Jordan probably knows exactly where she went, so
I have a good guess, and it's
so modest.
Her first name's just like, I don't even remember her leaving this part. Like I was in and out of the show a little bit, but her first name is Ravonna, right? Renslayer.
Yeah,
I think it is. If it's right, if it's the Renslayer I'm thinking of, and she's from a certain timeline that Kang has almost basically taken everything over, and she's the daughter of a king whose kingdom is like the last bastion holding off Kang the Conqueror. And I'm assuming she probably got some kind of intel and jumped right back to that world or that timeline and is doing whatever, trying to relay some information or, you know, I don't really know what she was trying to do there, but I think that's just that particular character. I'm sure you'll see her again, especially in the timeline.
Is she fully aware of like everything that's going on, and she just plays dumb to Owen Wilson?
I think so, because again, in her time, she's from a timeline
right
where Kang has done everything, and you know, He Who Remains is a character who isn't normally Kang in the comic book, in the Conqueror, but so he's an actual character in the comics, and Kang kind of assumed that. So I'm guessing she knew that a version of Kang had taken over, and she knew it was too late and peaced out. That's my guess.
Weren't they like lovers in the comics at some point, or
Ravonna and who?
Renslayer and Kang, or did?
I don't know honestly about that.
Okay.
I just know that her father's kingdom was holding them off.
Do you think that maybe this intel that she might have was from the file that Miss Minutes finally gave her?
Possibly. That makes sense.
That Miss Minutes. It was Miss Minutes the whole time.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's Miss Minutes was a pretty cool character. Voiced by Tara Strong. She was voiced by Tara Strong, I think, right?
Yeah. She got real like creepy there when they got to like the Kang house. Yeah. I was like, oh geez, let's take a chill pill, bro.
Yeah, like you're at Disney World and Mickey the Mouse is waving at you, then pulls out a knife.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I mean,
yeah, might as well have.
Yeah, Miss Minutes is a little OP. She's she's sleeper.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so that actually is exciting, and I think, you know, all these characters from these shows, even the B characters that aren't, you know, our normal Lokis and Sams and Buckys and Wandas, I think they'll pop up here and there throughout, you know, some movies, maybe some other shows, which leads me to Owen Wilson and Mobius, the probably laziest character name in the history of characters. Is his middle name also Mobius?
Yeah.
Mobius.
Yep.
Yeah, I actually his character is awesome.
So good.
Like, I really hope that he comes back in some facet outside of season 2. I mean, I'm sure he'll be back in season 2, but I hope he makes an appearance in another movie or show. But what do you think the future holds for Mr. Mobius?
I think he'll probably find a way to be a character outside of the Time Authority. He seems like he's kind of had it, or maybe he'll represent them in some whatever quest they go on or something. But I don't obviously. I don't think he's in total trust with that whole agency anymore,
right.
And I think he can start acting on his own. But as far as like, he's kind of an interdimensional Alfred,
Yeah,
it's really
I like
really,
that.
or who's in Quantum Leap? Who's his friend who shows up? That's Sam is the main guy. You guys watch Quantum Leap? God,
No, dude, I like chicks.
Sure you do. Sure you do.
That's word.
You won this pop.
Deep into
You won this
Loki.
pop. He's right behind me. I love chicks.
Yeah. I just hope at some point Mr. Mobius gets to ride on that fateful jet ski somewhere. But
sounds hot.
Yeah, heyo. No, so when Loki, this just popped into my head, so we got to talk about it. When Sylvie pushes Loki through the little time portal thing, and he comes back to the TVA, and he's like, running through and trying to find whoever he's trying to find, and he meets up with Mobius and the one TVA agent that I can't remember.
18.
Yeah, and he's like telling them all about what's going on, and they're like, who are you? Like, what are you talking about? So, like, I've seen some people say that, like, what happened in the time house, I'll call it, like, reset the timeline. But I don't follow that theory. I say that Loki was pushed into another universe, right?
That was the first sign of them losing control. I think.
That's the first multiverse hop right there, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But like, wouldn't they still know Loki? Because wouldn't that
he might not be in that timeline?
But I mean, every timeline has a Loki, right?
Well, so it could have been Loki the Boastful. The big black dude. It
could have been the Gator Loki.
Could have been the Gator Loki. It's a you never know how that works, and they obviously look nothing alike. And I think what's really cool about the multiverse theory, I've liked it in comic books, and I've never seen it on screen yet. I'm hoping they do it, but sometimes characters are so directly different in the comic books, the different multiverse, because they are different characters. There's just another person who, through fate, assumed the role of that character's legacy. So you have Loki as a legacy character, not particularly Loki himself, but the fact that there has to be a God of Mischief, right? Mm-hmm. So whoever this, the alligator Loki was probably a Loki who suffered the same fate as Thor the Throg. But like Loki the Boastful, I'm sure he does not share the same DNA strand as the Loki that we know. He's just probably another guy who was brought into it.
Right.
Who the hell knows if he's even an ice giant, right?
Right.
So it's
you kind of got like the Flashpoint, like Thomas Wayne as Batman now.
Yeah. You have literally other characters taking on the legacy of someone else, because it's cool to see that.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope hope DC does something like that as well. But there could have been another Loki on that timeline, looked nothing like him, so they have no clue who he was.
Right.
They could have met one. That's my
point. So he got pushed into potentially another timeline, right? So another universe,
mm-hmm.
but that didn't exist before it started branching.
Well,
like, that was because it started branching.
Exist, but like he wasn't able to ever get there because like the multiverses never crossed paths, maybe, right? Because the multiverses all existed from the show as they showed it. Like they kind of all just like sat on top of each other, right?
Right.
And just coexisted.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the pruning thing
keeps them from crisscrossing.
Yeah, is going back in your timeline to prevent something that would spark a split that would potentially cause the multiverse to cross paths. Am I like completely misunderstanding how it works?
No, that could happen. A lot of these timelines exist in parallel without ever knowing the other one exists. And when you branch over into the other one, the fact that you did that, it could spur off even another one,
right?
Because those two connected. That's definitely a chain reaction. But it's, I think also, if he does that, I mean, that could have spurred 100 other more multiverses that just began, where literally the Big Bang is just first happening or whatever. It gets crazy when you dive further into it, and that's why I really hope they don't go anywhere beyond the Sony layer of what's going on, or using these characters in subtle different timelines.
Yeah,
I mean, Sylvie and Boastful Loki are probably the two prime examples of what I'm talking about. Sylvie obviously is the Loki from her timeline, but she is nothing like Loki at all, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that they probably did that because they wanted that love story to happen, and they wanted us to realize that they aren't that. Even though she's living the legacy of Loki, she's not the Loki at all that we know.
Yeah. And isn't that a large in part because she got pruned so early? Or
I think so.
Like the TV picked her up when she was a child, so she didn't really have a chance to become
what that was. Yeah,
a Loki, really, because she's picked up so early for whatever reason.
In the comics, Lady Loki appears on Earth, but it was a body on Earth that was meant to take the soul from Sif, one of Thor's one girlfriend at one point on Asgard, the long black hair.
Mm-hmm.
He assumes
that's the one that like beats Loki up in the episode. He gets like put in the little like time
that's right.
loop.
That's right. She showed up there. So Lady Loki in the comic books, again, the human host on Earth, Loki goes into what was supposed to be her, and he just lives. He just carries on in that body for a while, and that's Lady Loki in the comic books. Sylvie's kind of a mix between that variation and a little bit of the Enchantress from the comic books, kind of just like a mystical. She's blonde, ironically. That's actually who I thought it was. I thought it was the Enchantress dressed as Loki, because it's literally a blonde girl wearing Lady Loki's outfit. So they did a good job of merging this into like a new type of character, and launching that forward. It's probably also due in large part to the fact that Suicide Squad used Enchantress, right? They didn't want to use another character like that. Right. Yeah.
Well, that brings me to the next thing. Excuse me. I was really not a fan of the Loki love interest until I was explaining to Nick why I thought it was stupid that Loki would fall in love with himself. But then I was like, actually, that's like the most Loki thing that could happen.
You could possibly do.
Like, he's so narcissistic and like that. Of course, he would fall in love with himself. And I was like, this is actually
I'm like,
genius.
You're getting it.
I'm like, oh, big brain. Here we go. But like, what did you guys think of that whole like storyline? And like, was it really necessary to have that, or would just having Sylvie and Loki interact and kind of team up and then kind of betray each other there at the end, sufficed without the whole love story aspect?
I mean, it's definitely weird at face value, like you said. But if you kind of think of it the way I'm thinking about it, is that they're not the same person. She's just living the legacy of being a Loki. It makes more sense. And it fits the narcissistic view of him falling in love with somebody who's living the legacy of himself. But there's never really an inkling as to, and I kind of wish there was. There's never really an inkling of him really admiring her for being the God of Mischief from wherever she's from, right?
Right.
They kind of just carry on with, he's supposed to know about her childhood and more about her, and They share the stories about their families.
Yeah.
And yes, I thought it was okay.
By you, Nick.
I thought it was good and actually well done. I think it was also necessary to evolve Loki's character, right? Because Loki, as we know him in the main timeline and also this branched Loki, he knew, he's a know-it-all. He knew everything. Like, he walked around as if he always had the edge or the plan on top of everybody. But like this kind of like brought him down a level away from that. It kind of grounded him from that like big-headedness that he had all the time. And it kind of puts him in a more dire situation. Because otherwise, kind of at the beginning of the show where he kind of walked around like, this isn't real. This is stupid. Like, this isn't even cool. Like, this is all lame. You're all fake. It was part of his journey to kind of realize that this is part of reality. And like, he's stuck in it. He has to find his way through it. It's not anything he understands. So it was a way to simulate like he actually has some sort of loss or skin in this game, because we're used to Loki practically having no skin in any game. He just plays the game. Outside of like the closest thing we got to this before was the love for his brother, which they like weaved in there, and they actually showed in this show too, because I forget. There's the whole Asgard thing too. He got a little sentimental about when he realized it was like an apocalypse and all that stuff. But then he had his bright idea, and he was like, "Oh, technically, there's people that live through that, and then they all get wiped out. So everything that happened to them just does not matter." And that's how he figured out Sylvie was hiding in apocalypses.
I loved how the whole like coming to grips with he's not exactly who he thinks he is in his mind played out, where he's like, no dude, like literally every time like you lose. Like and then the whole like, we're Loki's, we survive kind of storyline played out. I do hope that Sylvie doesn't just happen to be like a plot device, like a character growth device. I hope that she continues on in the MCU and actually like has a role other than Loki's growth, right? Because you hate to see that, but I do agree that without that story, we wouldn't have had that, right? So got that out of the way. I think what was the final thing? Oh yeah, the biggest question, I guess. That's a two-parter. So what are we going to expect here coming up with? I think Shang-Chi comes out next. I think that's the next MCU movie, comes out in September. And then I think we have Spider-Man in December. I'm not expecting any weird multiverse shenanigans in Shang-Chi, but I am expecting it in Spider-Man, as we've had all the rumors of like Jamie Foxx and Doc Ock showing up, and Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, rumors of them showing up. So like outside of Spider-Man and Doctor Strange, the Multiverse of Madness, which obviously it's in the title of the freaking movie, so we're gonna expect some shenanigans in there. Like what are the overarching long-term like phase 4 ramifications of He Who Remains, aka a Kang variant, letting the timeline just go haywire?
Nick, you want to take it? Or
I mean, I don't have any kind of like indication really to that. I mean, I can take guesses. They're ultimately going to probably lean more so on like comics to like pull stuff for that. I kind of like you were saying about Sylvie. I kind of hope like she just like takes over, because she's kind of in that spot at the end, but obviously I don't think she's able to do anything about it. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think it just mostly just kind of continuously lets them do more and more with the MCU. like we've kind of been discussing, but kind of grounded inside of that, I don't grasp yet how intricate they can weave these things. Just because they can do anything at this point.
Yeah, I think like you mentioned before, I think it's going to be a perfect opportunity to bring in the mutants with us. Other time travelers like Cable or Bishop from the comics, I think they're probably touching on obviously Cable's in Deadpool 2, whether they bring that over or not, and it's the same Cable or not, who knows. But one of the big things about Kang in the comics, and I doubt that they'll do this. They might like twist it and make it like a Tony Stark thing, but Kang is actually a descendant in the comic books of Reed Richards.
Mm-hmm.
So his name's Nathaniel Richards, and that is obviously going to play a huge part with Fantastic Four, that Discovery, or however they do it. And
am I related?
Right, yeah.
Oh no.
Between that and I think the Kang he's not exactly as powerful as Thanos. When Thanos is wielding the Infinity Gauntlet, but he's way more powerful than Thanos without the Infinity Gauntlet. And the dude is like, he's almost like Lex Luthor, who went far into like the 40th century and gathered all the knowledge from now till then and all the tech from now till then and made a like amazing army out of it and has a strategy of warfare behind it. And he doesn't really have any powers.
Right.
He just literally has the craziest tech that you could imagine and just wipes the floor with people that do have powers with his tech. He's the ultimate gadgeteer,
He's the time-traveling Batman.
Time-traveling Lex, whatever. And it's whether he's the big bad guy or he's leading up towards Galactus or whatever they're going to do. I hope they don't just keep getting like Kangs and killing him off and bringing a new one and killing him off and bringing in a new one and killing him. Like that's my biggest fear.
Just the Groundhog Day of MCU villain fights.
Mm-hmm. I'm really hoping they don't do that because it just it neuters the character the longer they go. Right.
So you mentioned Thanos. So in an alternate timeline, what would Thanos make of all this crap that's going on?
Yeah.
Because he does not seem like one that would tolerate such shenanigans. Because he's like, I need to fix the present, true timeline, not all these fake timelines.
Hey, maybe his timeline, Titan's still going strong, and he has no need.
We've seen two Thanoses technically. We've seen two different timelines of Thanos.
Mm-hmm. And actually, it's funny jumping back to the mutant idea. Thanos is technically the first mutant in the MCU. Really? He's a celestial.
Yeah.
So he's got the a deviant gene, which mutates them in a different way as they grow older, and they get a different sort of I guess characteristics to them, and so it's considered a mutant gene. But the timeline is the most important.
Yeah,
exactly.
Underfunded scientist says, funny how everyone thinks their timeline is the most important. It's like there's a whole universe of people, but only mine matters because I'm in the wrong one. Yeah. It's very American of that. I mean, what? No, I'm just kidding.
That relates to every single person on the planet.
Exactly. Yeah. We're all the center of our own universe.
I said, or like science, conventional science as they grew up. Yeah, we're definitely the center of the universe. Okay, well, I guess we're definitely the center of our own, galaxy. Okay. Well, we have to be the center of our own, planetary alignment here in our solar system.
I heard they spotted a gang of black holes just kind of like wreaking havoc through our galaxy or whatever, which sounds like a party.
It's running the streets.
Yeah,
gang of wild dogs.
A cluster of them, just like
some feral black holes.
Jesus, heading straight for New York.
Yeah,
directly for New York or Seattle.
Hey.
There's already one in Seattle.
Yeah.
California is a black hole.
Yep. Just
shit.
Anyways, those are all very interesting points. I think I don't know what to think, honestly. I'm kind of in the same boat as Nick, right? Because
they can do anything. I mean, it's Kang could be a descendant of Black Widow, in this. Who the hell knows? They could do anything. It's just this is that's all just stuff that they did in the comics, and He Who Remains again was a character in the comics. It wasn't Kang, so who the hell knows what they're going to do with all this?
Yeah. And I think it helped me so much to enjoy that scene in that last episode, because I had inklings and because I just read the articles and I was like, okay, might be Kang, could be, that's what everyone's kind of thinking at this point. But I was like, I read a little bit through the wiki, just to understand generally about Kang, but I saved a lot of that for the episode. I was just I'm just gonna see what they do, and then it all just kind of unfolded, and I just kind of let it happen, and I didn't build it up or think about it too much. Then afterwards, I was like, okay, let me get some quick bits on who this guy is and who he could be, and it helped a lot because it helped me enjoy that dialogue a lot more, because I was just letting them educate me on who this new character is instead of me trying to pin this character against something that I expect.
Yeah.
And I think that, and obviously that's just always a something that people do, not by intentionally all the time. It's just people know too much and then they get let down. So I'm at the point where I knew they could go anywhere with this, because I was at least understanding the show and the premise of the show and what they're doing overall. So that's where I was I'm not going to attempt to read forward on the Wikipedia pages or anything like that, because I'm just going to do myself a disservice.
It's okay to do for this reason alone, and we kind of touched on this in the Winter Soldier companion series, but I'm not one of those purists that I get completely mad when they change things from the comics just to change them. But I'm really not, and I always say this. I'll always touch on something that's not exactly comic accurate, but the idea is, if you did everything directly out of the comics, between the Bronze Age or the Copper Age of comics, they would suck so bad as movies or TV shows. So it's okay to twist them and bend them and break them a little bit and use some source material and move forward with it. I just get mad when they change things that they don't need to change, and they just change it for the hell of it.
And they use nothing from existing source material of Star Wars.
I know. And then I always get, you're just a comic book nerd. I'm like, it's just dumb. I'm not saying the comic's amazing, but it's just dumb not to use this key feature.
Yeah, there has to be a reason.
That's what's fun about the Bad Batch, is that they are doing more of this MCU cherry pick from established material, and they are weaving it differently into canon. So they're starting to do that with Star Wars, because I think they learned their lesson. But they are picking known events and they're retelling them in new canon, which is fun, because just like you were able to do with Falcon and Winter Soldier in the companion series, you at least had some inkling and understanding of where it could go, which made it fun, because you're how are they going to tell this story? And already I'm starting to understand that with Star Wars now, because they're starting to do it. It's oh, I know where they're going with this. I hope they go there with it, but I really want to see how they do it.
Yeah, at least you just don't know, right?
It's just
it'd be dumb to if it was word for word. When you watch The Watchmen, and you realize 20 minutes into it, you're well, I know what's going to happen next, because the movie is and it's great. It's
you're reading the comic along the way. You're
it's exactly the same. Yeah, every panel, all the dialogue, it's all the same stuff, and so you know exactly what's about to happen, which is cool in its own way. which is okay also for just a static movie that just is that, and that's the end of it. To what the MCU is, you want to stay interested in what could happen, right?
Yeah.
And Kang's a perfect character to do this with.
Yeah, for sure. How do you think it'll tie into a thing like Secret Wars and stuff like that?
Maybe I for some reason I hate the word pruning. If you notice, I laugh at it every time you guys. I say pruning the hedges. The way that the timelines are structured,
trim.
They'll probably realize that they one of two things. They'll probably realize that they can't stay stabilized like that, and they'll have to fight each other to see what timelines stay active, which is a good way to destroy some Sony X-Men movies. They lose, they're out. God, I hate Jean Grey so bad sometimes. Like she's like sitting on Wolverine's lap with her arms around him. Scott, why are you so jealous? It drives me insane.
Which movie was that?
From X-Men.
Which one?
The first couple Sony ones they released with
in the 2000s.
Yes, Cyclops, Wolverine, and Jean Grey. Anyway, okay, moving on from that. Or two, Kang will be so powerful and so elite over all these different timelines that he'll be like, you know what? I want to see who has the best fighters. So he'll gather different fighters from different ones, throw them into a battle world, and you'll get to see all these characters go into the same gladiatorial arena and, see different versions of them fight each other or, whatever.
MCU Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, it really is.
MCU MOBA? What?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Speaking of MOBAs, let's derail this entire episode.
I take that comment back. Keep going, Jordan.
I don't know. Any of you viewers just saw my face light up, but it did. I'm glowing.
We'll have to talk afterwards because I'm kind of curious, honestly.
We can talk right now. Let's go.
Start a new 30-second intro.
Yeah.
It's they could do a lot of things with that, and I hope they do touch on something like that, because it's a way you could literally see maybe a Venom on Eddie Brock, and also another Venom on Flash Thompson for Agent Venom, and you could see these two characters fight each other from different Earths.
Did you say Agent Venom or Asian Venom?
Agent.
Asian Venom.
No, Agent.
Yeah.
Is there an Ancient Rampage too?
I'm so focused on Asian Venom right now that I
can't. Anyways,
he's just so known for those big white eyes.
Oh my gosh. Why did I even say that?
I don't know.
So my last question about Loki, and then we can move on to a little crypto update. But what do you think will happen in season 2? Because as you heard earlier in the episode, my thought process for all these Disney Plus series was that they were all going to be limited mini series, one season, just setting up storylines for phase 4. So the way this ended, I was like, oh, this is perfect. They just set up all the craziness that's going to happen, and Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, and the rest of phase 4 were good. And then they're like, see, I'm not the only one. I am I'm pretty sure I'm partially deaf, so I thought I was going to be the only one, but
maybe you both, from playing Dust, are partially deaf and misheard him.
Could be. But I blame my partial deafness on playing music when I was younger with Jordan. It's his fault.
My ears are I'm damaged as well. I am
damaged. You guys are perfect for each other.
Yeah,
for real.
Just the entire companion series, we just kept be like, what?
Mike and I would seriously, we'd go play these shows, and the band's playing before us, and afterwards we're like, look at those nerds with their ear protection on.
We're like, wait,
didn't even hear them.
Yeah, I couldn't even hear Jordan making fun of them. But yeah, and then they hit us with the post-credit scene just being like Loki's case file, and then a big old season 2, like Loki's returning in season 2 stamp over top of it. So, like, where?
What if he finds that case file and it says season 2 on it, and he just like gets really confused and mind blown?
Explodes.
Yeah, because he's like, wait, I'm so confused. There's a 4th one. Like, he breaks it.
But yeah, like, what do you think?
I'm Tom Hiddleston. What
do you think is gonna happen? Like, is Sylvie gonna like stay out of the films, and like Loki's gonna chase after Sylvie in season 2? Like, I don't know. I literally have no idea what could happen in season 2 because I expect everything to carry forward in movies.
Yeah, that is the fact there's going to be a season 2. You're just like, what are you going to do? How are we gonna,
it's going down.
Yeah, and it'd be kind of cool to see maybe the group of Lokis all get together. I know that there's less of them now.
They go back and fight President Loki again.
Right, yeah.
That's awesome.
Maybe like a D&D group of just all Lokis. You have like your rogue, your mage, your warrior.
Your alligator.
Alligator, yeah. I mean, God, why not?
The most critical role in all D&D groups.
Maybe bring Throg back. You know?
Throg.
I can't say it. Asian Throg. We'll bring Asian Throg into it, and it will be great.
Yep.
Oh, Jesus. And
well, it's been nice being a podcast, guys. I can't wait to get canceled next week.
Unbelievable.
He's the most financially sound Throg you've ever met in your life.
Crazy rich Throgs.
Yeah. Half Asian Throg. I think there's. I gotta be honest
Throg
with you.
guys? No.
I kind of want some Throg merchandise as well. Maybe a pop figure. Anything. There's just my girlfriend's son actually mentioned that, and I'm like, my God, it's the best thing you've ever said.
Yeah, they need to do a pop series of the animal timeline for all the heroes.
Captain America.
Wow, yeah.
Is that actually a thing?
It unfortunately is, yeah.
That's awesome.
What are some of the other animal versions?
Spider Ham, obviously.
Of course.
What's Iron Man?
You know, I was actually trying to think of that. I can't. I don't know. Ant-Man is Ant. He's just an ant.
He got the Mobius treatment there.
He did, yeah.
Ant.
Yeah.
Mobius.
Yeah. What else is there?
Spider-Ham was Into the Spider-Verse, right?
He was. And the Venom in that one is named Pork Grind. He's a pig also.
Yeah.
Boo.
Pigland. Pigverse.
Right? Yeah. A lot of pet adventures.
Loki's gonna go after Sylvie, but first he has to get out of this other timeline where Kang is just president of the TVA.
Right? Is that like the Kang?
So Jordan, is that like primary Kang the Conqueror is where he fell into, where he just the Conqueror?
He's just off having a great time. Yeah. Kang getting real crunk over there.
Oh, that's funny. What did you say? I don't remember anything.
So back to the timeline that Sylvie put Loki into. Do you think that is the the main actual kind of more comic book-esque Kang the Conqueror, his timeline? Because like he's in the statues at the TVA. Clearly he's like the man in charge. He's not hiding it or anything like that.
Yeah, that's a good idea. That's a good thought because
then they could introduce like the Kang.
Yes, and he has no reason to be in the main MCU Earths yet, right? And he needs that grand entrance coming in from another timeline. And what better than that? You know, maybe for all we know, that is the same one that Renslayer went to, right? I mean, we don't totally know. So maybe her and Renslayer try to go to the Avengers for help. Because did Loki tell her about the Avengers? Maybe he didn't. I don't know.
I think he told Mobius.
Or maybe Renslayer found the paper and was like,
the file.
I'm gonna tell my dad about this and go there.
I'm gonna tell my dad.
Yeah,
my dad. The Avengers will help.
Exactly like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe that'll lead her to go to that Earth, and Kang will be like, "Where the hell's your daughter?" And then he'll tell her, or tell him, and then he'll go to MCU. Who knows? Anything.
Yeah. Let's get rowdy.
It's gonna get so hard to talk about because
it is. We're gonna need like a series on the series about it.
Well, okay. So I mean, how do they expect? So obviously, before the past 10 years, you could just go to the movies and watch an MCU movie, really just kind of as is, and enjoy it because it was Marvel and they do what they do. So how do they expect now for people to go to the like? Are they still going to kind of carry the movie's going to still have that Marvelness to them where you can just go and watch them, and then they're going to have all these other like multiverse connections, or is there going to be a non-multiverse like kind of story arc here where like maybe how Black Widow and like Falcon Winter Soldier are more Earth based and they might not really relate much to that stuff? I don't know, because that's like what I was watching. Is like, does everyone have to watch Loki now and then also the movies and understand all this crazy crap that's going on? They just seem a little less accessible in this phase than they were in phase 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, it becomes diluted with information all over the place, right?
Yeah.
I think there's no reason to believe. I mean, as weird as Kevin Feige is, he's built something he's really paying close attention to. And now that he's involved in the TV shows and the movies, everything being diluted like that could carry on for a little bit till they realize that there's less or more people that are confused. So I could see that becoming one of the first, bugs in their the system for them and how they're trying to do stuff. Yeah. It's definitely possible. But I think Disney kind of has a way of doing that in general right now. I mean, you're seeing the same situation happen with Star Wars, right? You're seeing all these different TV shows come out from all these different timelines, and you don't totally know what's going to happen when and how it's going to be happening. You'll probably see like Old Republic versus, coming out with the new movie of something that's taking place around the rebellion. It's like, you don't know.
I mean, everyone has to ask me when in the timeline, especially Mike, like when in the timeline, and it's just one timeline right now in Star Wars. There is no multiverse in Star Wars, but still, like you said, like
it's one timeline that you're seeing different parts of the timeline happen at once, right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I'm going at with this. It gets confusing because you have so much information thrown at you and spread out over, spread out all over the place. So I think they're going to definitely suffer from that a little bit if they continue down this path.
I never thought about that. Like Star Wars, you could probably just chop into like 4 different timelines and just say it doesn't even connect. None of it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, you really can.
All right. Well, yeah, I think we pretty much, talked as much as we could about Loki.
Mike's trying to keep the episodes shorter because he's been getting roasted for how long our episodes are.
No, I just have more important things to do tonight.
Oh, that's just wrong.
No, I mean, but we could literally talk about Loki all night and then all next week and then probably the next week after that. There's so much
after the fact.
I know, right?
A post-series companion series.
Exactly.
Mobius.
We're out though.
Yeah, steer Mobius. But yeah, so I mean, without just really going into the weeds and spending hours and hours and hours going through the nuances of the multiverse and all that stuff, I think we did a pretty good job of kind of hitting the big points of the series and kind of what could happen, what we can maybe expect down the road. But I know that we also have a little Theta update / crypto talk that we wanted to get into. Do we need to check in on BioCivic? No, I'm just kidding. Just the episode now is just turned into BioCiv commentary. Which, by the way,
what are you doing? As long
like,
as when you pop him on the screen, he dies, because that's like some of the favorite content there.
Or breaks his ankle, like he saw a minute ago.
His struggles with the rats and Fallen Order was most epic. I loved it so much.
Because like he acknowledged how bad it was. I knew how bad it was because I did the same thing, and like it was just good to see.
Yeah. For those of you wondering, it looks like he is still alive. So
going ham.
He's going ham on the Outer Worlds.
Alive and live.
Yes. But yeah, so we had an episode a couple months back where we talked about a new technology and cryptocurrency called Theta. And it was a really fun episode, very educational. Jordan kind of gave us the rundown on all things Theta related. And, after that episode, Theta kind of blew up coin-wise. It did pretty well for quite some time.
Because of our episode.
Yes, all because of Jordan's appearance on the show, boys.
Oh, yeah.
And then, for some unknown reason, it just made us all cry. But they are coming out, like Jordan said, coming out with some new updates on things, and Jordan wanted to talk about them. So, and I'm anxious to learn about them because after that episode I did buy some Theta tokens. So I am invested both educationally and financially. So I need this. Yes. I've tried to detach all emotions. So I didn't hang myself back there, but anyways,
the shadow. Wow. Oh, it's dark. That is dark.
Anyways, why don't you let us know what's happening over in Theta Land, man?
So the last episode we had, like you said, it shot up in price. I can't remember what the exact price was during that episode.
Low $2.
Yeah, because
really,
you had been hounding me like even before that episode to buy, because you're like, this is like around $2. It's gonna go up. Like you need to get it, and then I waited all the way till like $4.80 something, and then got it, and then it did go up to like 16-ish, maybe $17,
$15.72. Yeah. I'm like, Mike, buy it. Not financial advice. Buy it. Yeah. Part of the fun was because I know you're surrounded by people, some people who don't understand it or kind of doubt the system. It's cool to see that. Of course,
don't talk about it much right now because this is the time where they're like, "I told you."
Exactly.
So even then, I'm still like, it's still more than what I bought it for.
Exactly.
So.
And
you did tell me. Am I still buying more? Yes, I'm still buying more. You definitely told me.
And when it's soaring, the people who are like making fun of you don't talk about it, right? But then when it comes back in, it's an I told you so. Yeah. Like I have it personally a lot, and I see it a lot. But it wasn't just Theta. Bitcoin hit like
market.
Yeah, there's a whole market. Like Bitcoin hit like mid 60,000s, and then there's the whole rug pull in the entire market, and everything collapsed. There was a situation with Theta on the Binance exchange where they were doing a little bit of shady. It was just presumably shady antics with it, and that hit the price a little harder. But like I said early on, fundamentally, like if you're a long-term or mid to long-term investor, fundamentals are better than ever. And also, when you're a mid to long-term investor, it's kind of all you pay attention to. The short-term price movement, if you get bound by that, it'll just eat you alive, And the numbers are ugly looking. My God, they're so ugly looking. I
would like to note though that episode 26 of the show, boys, where we describe and talk about what is the Theta network, it was in the low $2, and it is currently in the mid $4. So
yes. Yeah.
Without understanding all the drama, right? The emotion that people get caught up in the past 4 months, it's doubled up. So I would say fundamentals are still holding very well for something that doubled in 2 months.
I mean, at one time it was like, 8 times as much, but we're not going to talk about that.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's all about the straight line, not the wiggly line.
When we all
technical term.
Right. Yeah.
It is a wiggly line.
Make me seasick. When you always talk about like how like I wish I got like in Ethereum early or Bitcoin early, but like you have to realize, you've kind of seen it just now through this, that it's like anyone that held through all the crazy stuff that they went through on those early days, like that wasn't easy. Obviously, that's why a lot of those people probably never made it, and the ones that held are reaping the biggest benefits right now. But Theta itself, since then, the price doesn't always match the adoption. That's that way for a lot of different assets right now. But they've launched their NFT marketplace finally, and that came with a couple different major YouTube crypto leaders in the sphere, I guess you'd say. One of them is about to launch, whether you like him or dislike him. His name's BitBoy Crypto. He's got like 1.1 million followers.
BitBoy.
Yeah. So he obviously sees, the potential in their marketplace. The staking in 3.0 was completely revamped for T-Fuel. If you remember T-Fuel, the currency asset that Theta token governs, and they introduced a deflationary event for that burns tokens and will help with the economics behind it, and allow it to just progress in price and what's the word I'm looking for?
Appreciate.
It'll appreciate, and because there'll be fewer tokens over time. One of my biggest screw up, I think, in crypto was not buying T-Fuel when it was under a penny.
Oh, for sure.
Like that haunts me all the time. And the person who got me into Theta started mentioning it more so than Theta, and I just, for some reason, it just didn't ring. It didn't resonate with me, and I didn't do it, which sucks really bad. But we have a Guardian node that's up and running now, so we have our Theta tokens staked to that, and the network is growing in size. It's becoming more and more decentralized. We talked about the importance of decentralization in episode 26, I think you said. And the NFT market is it's had a ton of volume. And again, like her or love her, but Katy Perry's releasing all of her NFTs on the Theta marketplace.
Love her.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Actually, maybe I am at this point. I don't know.
He's full of surprises.
He is. And she's obviously a little bit of an investor in it, but one of the biggest things is they're called the CAA, they're the Creative Artist Agency. They announced that they're going to run a validator node, and the CAA has obviously Katy Perry's part of that, like Jennifer Aniston's on there, just tons of actors and actresses and artists all over the place. So it's a big indicator of what NFTs are going to come into the marketplace with that. And me personally, NFTs also haven't totally resonated with me. It's weird because I'm a collector, right? I collect comic books, action figures, just crazy things, and these are digital collectible pieces. I guarantee you, when Warner Brothers releases some that are DC Comics related, I'll probably get some of those. I'll probably put the bids out for it. I might do some Marvel stuff that comes out, and but NFTs aren't going away. They're going to be huge. There's a lot of sports places are talking about it. The Football Hall of Fame's talking about it. It's going to
shout out Hall of Fame.
Right. It's
5 minutes that way.
Right. Yep. Yeah. Right. They're going to be everywhere. GameStop's going to be having their own, obviously, and they're going to be everywhere. And Theta themselves, they're a leader in the NFT marketplace right now. So the whole protocol that they have developed for Theta itself to decentralize video data is just, it's got its own U.S. patents. It's just got its fourth or fifth one approved, I believe, and they're not acting as a competitor to any video streaming that's out right now. They just want to use their protocol in the next layer of video streaming, and protocols themselves. If you're a tech guy at all, you know that TCP/IP, it's been around for what is it, like 4 or 5 decades now, and it's still the backbone of the internet. And these new protocols that are going to be layered into the next layer of the web, they're these protocols that are going to run it the same way that everything else is. And Theta being its own blockchain, who the heck knows what else other apps will be developed on it, what other ideas will come out of it. But all these different blockchains kind of have their own their own niche as to what they're going for. Some just want to have just decentralized applications built on it, like Ethereum. Theta wants obviously decentralized like video apps put onto them, or they want to use the protocol underneath YouTube, or maybe into Twitter Live for watching sports on Twitter. It can be used in anything. And the fluctuation in the price on Theta it's gone up with everything and fallen with everything, but the fundamentals are always the same. And I'm kind of back into where I was before, where if it's under $5 for me personally, it's a screaming buy. If you want to just try to get to the next goal for whatever Theta tokens you want to hold. But T-Fuel, I'm relying on my Guardian node to produce T-Fuel.
28 cents.
And it's a good deal. My brother and I have talked about grabbing some, and just when you have 10,000 T-Fuel, you can set up an elite edge node, and these elite edge nodes will produce more T-Fuel for you. So you have the Theta Guardian node producing T-Fuel, and then the edge node producing T-Fuel. So it's a good way to compound that asset. And also, when you use T-Fuel on the Theta marketplace, you get I think it's like a 5 or 10% discount, I think, on the NFTs purchase. So it's that's another big one. But the CAA is one of the biggest pieces of news that came out of that, because it shows the long-term effect of the support that they have with pop culture and both music and TV and movie media.
Oh man, we lost Mike. Audio cut out.
Oh, hopefully he wasn't talking.
My bad. I was.
He was just started talking. That was the awkward silence.
Throat. Yeah. Before we tackle this comment here, just want to do a quick shout out. We actually are uploading backlog of our videos to theta.tv. So I think we have 5 episodes up right now. We've been kind of cherry picking some of our favorite episodes to throw on there. So if you are a user of theta.tv, find us on there, Showboys Podcast, and go rewatch some of our old episodes and share with some of your friends. Give us a follow. Slap a few likes on those videos or something. I don't know. But Underfunded Scientist says, the thing about NFTs that I don't like is that the seller keeps all rights to it after sale. It's like a baseball card. You own that card, sure, but you don't own the team. And then he says that would be fine, but the market...
But they market it like you're buying rights to something, like you own it.
There's a certain type of NFT protocol that is very true about, and there's also some that's not exactly true about. That what you're talking about actually has a good use case, and I forget the guy's name. He's a big investor, but he owns the Mavericks, I think. And
Mark Cuban.
Thank you. Yeah, Mark Cuban. He wants to utilize that for ticket sales. So basically, if you buy a ticket to the game and a scalper tries to resell it, some of that profit from that interest will go right back to Mark Cuban, or the profit for the Mavericks. But there are certain NFTs that you can own the rights to, and particularly with on the Theta's marketplace, they're going to actually add it to where you can remove it from the marketplace. And when you remove it from the marketplace and you put it in your own NFT storage, you can own the rights to it. Some people right now only have that happen when the NFT is first minted and the digital rights are given to them in the first place. But there are some that carry right over. A lot of times, obviously, the ledger of the blockchain is completely transparent, so you can see who owned it before. Generally, from everything that I've seen, whether that'll stay that way or not, I don't know. But the ledger is totally just open and they're free to look at. So
that's interesting because an NFT that was owned by, say, Robert Downey Jr. Say he had an Iron Man NFT. That Iron Man NFT that was owned by Robert Downey Jr. is way worth more money to a lot of people than whatever its effective counterpart is out there.
Yes.
So that's kind of cool that is for now transparent and seen.
Yeah, I don't think anything should. I mean, there's really no reason to believe nothing on the blockchain will. The blockchain is the ultimate way of staying anonymous but transparent at the same time. I know it sounds weird. But you can see all the digital signatures of where things have traveled. So as long as you know that Robert Downey Jr. owned that wallet that it was originally in, then yes, yeah. But other than that, it's just a anonymous wallet that you know. The way the blockchain is right now is you can kind of look at certain wallets and assume who owns them based on the announcement they made of what their company's buying and how much of said asset went into that wallet. Right. That's something that could be diluted in the future. But yeah, I mean, there's no reason that like someone couldn't say that, yeah, this is my public wallet address, and put it out there, and then everyone can see what goes in and out of there, just for collectible wise. I could see Kevin Smith doing that for sure.
Yeah,
definitely. But yeah, it's NFTs are definitely a rare breed, and I think I'll get into NFTs like I said with the comics like we talked about. And until then, Theta to me is a great way of fighting the censorship a lot of platforms use to censor people.
Yeah.
And between that and I'll probably get into them NFTs in particular when there's more of a corporate use for invoicing and tracking and such. Which there's already a couple projects I'm looking at for that too, which I'll make sure you know about it, Nick.
Thank you. Appreciate
it. Do you remember me telling you about the like NFT Mario Party style game that was announced at E3? I cannot remember the name of it. Oh my gosh. Do you remember the name of it?
I didn't know when was announced.
Yeah, I think it was you that I texted. I don't remember. I was texting a lot of people around E3, but basically it's like a Mario Party style game that's also, I don't want to say MMO like, but you can see like it's a world and there are a lot of people, and then you can play like Mario Party style game.
Blanco's Block Party.
Blanco's Block Party. Your character is like a vinyl, basically like a Funko Pop style figure, right? And all the characters are NFTs, which is interesting. So like
it's that way there's only one of that particular character.
Yeah, and as you like level it up, then it becomes more valuable, right? Because it's unique and has different stats and blah 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 blah.
Artists can sell like skins that they make on there that you can get for your character that make it worth more money and stuff like that. And then those artists are also making money because they're selling art on the marketplace there, which are NFTs in themselves, I think.
Yeah, so it's like basically NFTs that you can play with. And then as you play with them, they get more valuable, and then you can just sell them if you want. It's a really interesting idea.
Yeah, I think it's always funny to say, but like everything, an NFT is a tokenized version of an asset, right? So that skin would have a token attached to it in the blockchain that can be sent to your account, and then you have your access to it. The use case for NFTs are going to go way beyond everything that's happening right now, and just like anything, obviously. But it's it definitely came with the Dogecoin fad a little bit ago,
right?
And
Doge,
yeah, and just completely helped help bring a lot of eyes into it, and also help wreck the market after retail investors pull it out after getting scared.
No kidding. Underfunded Scientist says that NFT game sounds really cool. It is called Blanco's Block Party. If you missed it, we just posted a link to their website in the chat, so you could check it out. I don't know if it's live now or if it's just a beta.
Early access.
Early access.
Play for free.
There you go. Go check it out.
But real quick, I know people that there's other NFT games where like you can raise horses and race them on the blockchain. There's stuff like that that's already happening too.
Right.
And I've seen people sell these horses for $20,000, and it's now as more people get into it, obviously that level of profit's going to drop.
Right.
Yeah.
But you are looking at the early stages of a way of creating new businesses. You can have 5 games that you go in and out of and create characters and sell them, and it could be your full-time gig.
Yeah,
playing Blanco's Block Party.
Yeah, I'm not a crypto investor, so I can spend my life playing Blanco's Block Party. But my God, I bet you that if someone does that and does it right, they'll be where I want to be in 10 years.
Yeah.
It'll probably work way better than any plan that I have.
Right.
But whatever.
But yeah, so thanks for the update. That's
Sure.
some exciting stuff going on there. So by the way, prices are down, so be a good time to get in.
It's hot buy.
Let's go. But yeah, I think that pretty much wraps up for tonight. We didn't have any comments to the Answer the Boys topic in Discord. We did have a very massive comment in our Loki channel though, but it's pretty big, so that could spawn like another probably hours worth of discussion. But it's just another reason.
We touched on some of it.
We kind of did a little bit, but we didn't really do it justice. If you really want to get it, you got to get in there. But that's like, hello, great reason to be a part of our Discord. You get to be a part of the awesome, fun, thought-provoking conversations that we get to have with each other in there, and we have channels for everything. We had a Loki channel, we have a Bad Batch channel, we have a Pokemon channel where we could talk about all kinds of Pokemon games, specifically Pokemon Unite. You like how I wiggled that in there, Nick? I did a little wiggly woo right in there.
You got it in.
I did. But yeah, we have all kinds of stuff in there, and it's probably the best way for you as a listener to stay up to date with all things going on with Showboys. We definitely use Discord more than our social media, so that's where you'll get the most up-to-date news and announcements and all that stuff. Plus, it's a really cool place to interact with fellow listeners, and Nick and myself, and Jordan's in there. Our friend BioSiv is in there that we showed on the early part of the episode. Go join up. It's real fun. Also, if you like what you heard tonight, please consider subscribing. Slapping a little like on the video tonight. Share with your friends. Underfunded, since you're still here in the chat, make sure you DM me your address so I can mail you this fancy Funko Pop. Look at that. 10 out of 10. Recommend the Discord. Thank you, sir. We can't forget this comment, Nick. I'm level 11 on Unite. This man's been grinding. He knows what's up.
I also say that I added the link to our What's the Theta Network episode 26, in the YouTube description of this video. So
nice.
If anyone wants to check that out, that will be there.
Were you going to say something, Jordan?
No, I was just I googled it real quick. I'm like what's Unite? But
yeah, it's a Pokemon MOBA, and
that's a whole different episode.
So fun. But yes, Jordan, you have anything you want to plug? You got anything going on?
I'll be here next week, right?
That's right.
Yes. We do have a fun episode. Chad will be joining us too, so we'll have a 4-bang going on here. We're gonna be covering San Diego Comic-Con. Chad actually, like he did for E3, got press access So he should be bringing us some spicy news and announcements, hopefully. I'm hoping, I'm not aware of right now, but I also didn't look anything up yet. I'm hoping to find some sort of live stream or something like they had for E3 for San Diego Comic-Con. But either way, I'm really looking forward to digging in the announcements that come out next week. And we will be here to cover them all with you and with Chad and with Jordan. So that should be really fun. Nick, what's the status on the Bad Batch companion series?
Bad Batch episode 13 of 14 comes out tomorrow, Friday.
Oh, snap.
And then the finale is the following Friday. I'll be out of town this Sunday, so we won't be recording or live streaming the recap of episode 13 this Sunday, unfortunately. But depending on how this next episode goes, and if I can get any inclination to what the finale is going to be like, as in, is it going to be an hour long and such, will kind of determine how we play out the final two or single episode of the companion series. Might try to squeeze in 2 next week, or might do a double banger for the finale. I don't know.
Yeah, well, hey, 2 episodes of the show left. That's exciting. I haven't seen last week's, so no spoilers. But the previous week, getting to see one of my favorite Rebels characters.
Oh yeah. You'll love this.
Real exciting. I had you. Even though I didn't watch it, I had to support my boys, so I had you guys up while I was doing something. But I just had the volume down because I didn't want to spoil the show too much. But I did hear an occasional like Hera, and I was like, "Oh, sweet. Okay, so we're back. We're back with Hera for at least another episode." Make sure you guys check that out Sunday. Well, not Sunday. Next week, maybe a double banger.
Yeah, we're gonna work it in. We're gonna cover it.
Double batch.
The baddest of double batches.
The double's baddest batch.
Yes.
Use a bad batch.
You should have had him on. Should have had Jordan on the Bad Batch companion series.
I forgot. We did talk about that, but yeah, good.
Yeah. That wraps up our episode for tonight. Thanks if you're still here. Thank you for being here. And don't forget to join us next Thursday, 9:00 right here on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. Until then, have a wonderful night and enjoy our banging theme song. Later.
That was fun.
It was so cool. Good thing we're still live.
Mm-hmm.
For real.
Mm-hmm. See that thing in the top corner?
Yeah. Mike was probably hoping you would open up with something real spicy.
I know. I was hoping for another Asian Venom, but